Sam asked, hi Mr. John, should I apply 3-year rule or 90 days before, and what documents should I submit with the N400 based on marriage to U.S. citizens? So Sam, I can't give you individual advice because I don't know anything about your background for me able to guide you, and I'm not your attorney, so I just got to make that clear at the very beginning. But it depends. So when you're married to a U.S. citizen and you have a green card, you typically have to wait 5 years to file for citizenship if you have a green card. But if you're married and living with the U.S. citizen, you could file at a 3-year mark, and they allow you to file up to 90 days beforehand. So there's a website, USCIS. Just go to Google, type in USCIS Naturalization 90-Day Calculator, and put the 3-year mark from the date that you got your green card, and they'll tell you what 90 days is, so you see what window you have to file. Now, what you need to file, now every case is specific. Some people have arrest history, some people have all this other stuff. You may need additional stuff. But the basics for filing for citizenship for based on marriage is, using N400s, the basic application, include a copy of the front and back of your green card, color copy, and your marriage certificate. And you may want to, I don't always do this, but they want you to do this, but I don't always do it, but have evidence that you've been living together for the last 3 years. And so a lot of times we do 3 years of tax returns, 3 years of worth of lease agreements. They're not strict if it's obvious that you're living together, so that's that. Now, if you've had previous marriages, you might need divorce certificates for yourself or for your spouse to show those divorces were done. If you've been arrested before, there's arrest history kind of stuff that has to come into play. If you had to sign up for the Selective Service Draft, you want to get that information that you signed up in time if you're under the age of 26 when you got your green card, or you're in the United States in a status other than a non-immigrant visa. So it goes in a lot of stuff that I can't get into here because I don't know your unique case. But also, there's the physical presence requirement of how long you've been physically in the United States. So if you're filing for marriage-based, U.S. citizen marriage-based citizenship in 3 years, a year and a half that time you have to have been physically in the United States without long gaps in between. That makes it look like you had abandoned your status or you're not living here. That breaks what's called the continuous residency. So you want to be careful of that and not have done that. So again, I will need to review your travel history, how you got your green card, what's going on in your relationship now, how to prove you're in a relationship, your green card, divorce certificates, and that's the general idea to really solidify it, make it strong, and hopefully have it go by smoothly. Unfortunately, the timetables are kind of a mess, so it could be 3 weeks after you file, get your interview. It could be a year and a half. That's the timelines I've seen. Now, I have seen people get interviews in 3 weeks, not myself, one of my colleagues. Not typical, 3 months is more typical, but it really depends on your local field office. So local office you're going to, how long are they taking to schedule interviews? Now, I actually have an interview coming up for a client for citizenship. We filed it a year and a month ago. And the same day that I filed his citizenship a year and a month ago, I filed 2 others, and both of them were finished in 3 months. This one a year and 1 month. And that's why when people ask me, and you haven't asked me obviously here, but we get this question a lot, how long will it take? It's all over the place, and you have the option of logging into like an online website that they have, and checking. And there's a thing when you log in into your online portal that says estimated time 8 months, 9 months, and stuff. Don't get caught up in that because it's not consistent. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's actually going to happen. So I just tell clients, don't look at the timelines. It's going to frustrate you because it doesn't necessarily go by what they say. These are these wild averages and large groups that don't really go to exactly what your case is. And so be prepared for that. Just make sure you do everything right. When you apply for citizenship, it's essentially the last time they're going to review your case and look at you. And so that's why, and if there are mistakes in the process, no one's pretty much going to look at it again. Now, under President Trump, they created a denaturalization task force to kind of go back and review cases. But barring those kind of extreme kind of stuff, once you get citizenship, you're done. So this is the last step, and that's why I have to put a lot of emphasis on trying to catch any issues that exist at citizenship stage. So that's why you really want to talk with a lawyer and do a thorough consultation review. So for example, a citizenship naturalization review of consultation in my office, we're going to spend like a detailed time going through exactly everything for your life. So I can just hear stuff, review your documents, to try to spot issues. And hopefully there's no issues. Most of the time there's not. So if there are problems, we stop right there, because if you have problems with your case and you file for citizenship and they find it out, I've seen cases where people get sent to deportation, get their green card taken away, kicked out of the country, because they'll say, oh, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, there was this error that shouldn't have got your green card, and now you're going to get kicked out. So that's why we got to be really cautious in these kind of situations and make sure that we just don't mess up. I hope you enjoyed this educational video. Also, you'll find our social media site has a lot more videos, images, and information about the U.S. immigration process. Please check those out on the various social media websites.